All right, guys, welcome to the On the Line podcast. I'm your host Noel Alberto with co-host Oliver Dixon Jefford. Oliver, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Very early here, so a little tired, but that's okay. Some great tennis last week. WTA nearly wraps up as Caroline Wozniacki wins the biggest title of her career in Singapore. Federer wins an eighth title in Basel. Luca Pouille wins his biggest title in Vienna, and then we preview Paris and Zhuhai. So you'll actually start off with Wozniacki winning Singapore, and boy, our picks for this were not very good, but Wozniacki just took it to everyone pretty much.
Well, yeah, it was the best player throughout the tournament. Even the match he lost to Caroline Garcia, he didn't play badly there at all. Obviously, won the first set, 6-love. So it was deserved victory. I mean, final tough for her. You obviously she's love 7 against Venus heading into that match. But yeah, she obviously at the end she kind of nearly lost it a little bit, but she never looked like losing that match. She always seemed that she was at least matching Venus, and obviously in the end was able to go ahead of her. So it was a great week for her. Obviously back to world number 3 now. I think it's the first time she's been in the top 4 since she was world number 1. So that's almost 5 years ago. So it's been a really amazing season for her.
Yeah, like you said, she almost lost it. She was broken back for 4-5, Venus serving for 5-all in that second set, but Venus played a pretty poor service game by her standards, allowed Wozniacki to get into that game, and then capped it off with the backhand to take the title. So brilliant stuff from Wozniacki, and even brilliant stuff from the other Caroline Garcia, making the semifinal here.
Yeah, because she's been a real revelation the past few months. Obviously, but back-to-back titles to qualify at 2 big tournaments, obviously Wuhan and Beijing. Was kind of outplayed by Halep in her first match, but obviously another amazing battle against Elina Svitolina. Obviously, we had a huge match back in Beijing, and she won there. She won in Singapore as well. And another battle against her fellow Caroline, losing the first set 6-love and then to come back and win is some going. And yeah, obviously didn't play too badly against Venus in the semi-finals, as Venus has played so well in the big events and was able to do that again. So I think for Caroline Garcia and for Wozniacki and for Venus, this was obviously a good way to end the season. I think obviously Pliskova made the last 4 as well. I think she probably could have found a way past Wozniacki, to be fair. Obviously, she had multiple set points in that, I think, 90-minute first set or something.
Yeah, 11-9 first set tiebreak to Wozniacki.
So I think obviously Wozniacki was the best player of the tournament, but I think Venus and Caroline Garcia were probably the next 2, which is why they were finalists and semi-finalists.
Yep, definitely. Also our picks. So our picks didn't do too well, minus Venus, obviously, but they each got to win. Halep got to win, Svitolina got to win, and Garbiñe got to win.
Yeah, everyone won at least one match, which is kind of nice. But yeah, just the courts were slow. I feel like so slow. If we'd known that, we might have been favoured Wozniacki more. I don't think I would have had her winning the title. I probably would have stuck with honestly someone like Muguruza. But yeah, I think that paid an impact, and it's kind of especially with Muguruza having played so well in her first match, and then to lose the next 2. The one to Pliskova very handily, I think 2-2. Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, I agree there. So now we move on to Mr. Federer, and my dream of 1750 ends at the final as Federer takes out Del Potro for an 8th Basel title and his first career Basel title after losing the first set. But now Mr. Federer's pulled out of Paris, so we'll get to that in a little. But man, Federer just looked very good after that first set. Even in the first set, he was very close to winning it and had around a 40-ish% first serve percentage.
Well, I mean, if it's his 7th title this year, only 4 losses. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
saw some of that. He's heading towards 10,000 points for the season.
In like
And
12
just,
tournaments.
yeah, and like, so it's crazy. I mean, it's just been unreal. I haven't seen much of it. I've seen a few highlights. It looks like it was another good final against Del
Yeah,
Potro.
very good final.
Obviously, they've played in Basel finals twice before, and Del Potro won both times. They were both good finals as well. So I think it's nice of Federer to get a bit of revenge. Obviously, he's won Basel several times before, but obviously having twice lost in the final to Del Potro, I think it was a nice win for him. Obviously, not playing in Paris this week, probably the wise choice. I think he'd rather win the World Tour finals than Paris. So, but yeah, Del Potro obviously still within a chance of London, but he could have won this final, I feel. I think it's an opportunity missed, and I think it's going to be very difficult for him now.
Yeah, this puts him in a pretty tight spot looking at the live race rankings. He'll actually go, if he makes the third round, if the seeds hold, he'll go up against Sasha Zverev in Paris. So, not a pretty brutal draw for someone. He's still about, looks like 190 points behind Carreño Busta, but he needs a semifinal, and Mr. Songa, who we'll get to in Vienna, also needs a semi-final as well. But yeah, it was a great final. I mean, we were watching it at work because I work at a tennis store, but it was like brilliant final. Federer was a bit off at times, like hitting like very wayward forehands, making poor like shot choices, but still found a way to do it. And this is where, by the way, guys, where all our points came from our predictions, because we can't predict anything. But we'll get to that in a little. And while we mention one Swiss, we'll mention another. Miss Martina Hingis retires on top. She did lose in her and Young Yan Chan did lose in the Singapore semifinals to, I believe it was Babos and Lavechkova.
Yeah, Velstiver went on to win the title in the end.
Yep.
Those two.
But Oliver, so Martina retires on top after a career season, another career season in doubles. What to make of Miss Hingis's career?
It's just like truly a legend of the game. It's been an amazing season to finish it as well. Obviously, she got a final doubles Grand Slam title with Chan. Obviously, back-to-back mixed doubles titles with Jamie Murray. So she couldn't have ended it in a better way. And it's just staggering looking at all she's achieved across her 3 careers, as it were. 5 singles titles and then countless doubles and mixed doubles titles. It's truly like an all-time great doubles player and just an all-time great in general. Really wonderful career.
Yeah, wonderful career. Started off very young. Nearly 80% win percentage in singles. Nearly completed the career Grand Slam, just missing out on the French Open. And look at this. 97 was her year. Win in Australia, final in the French, win at Wimbledon, win at the US Open. So, and then also has won a World Tour finals, and then doubles. She's practically won everything, bar a gold medal. But it's been brilliant career for her, and we will miss her dearly.
Absolutely. I mean, that first 1997 season, she was 16. It's absolutely crazy. And, to win 3 of the 4 Grand Slams, reach the final and the other, that final loss at the French Open was, I think, her first loss that whole season. So it's just absolutely mental. And to continue that in recent years in the doubles, obviously she got that first slam on her third career as a with Sanya Mirza at Wimbledon, won an amazing final against Makarova and Vesnina. The crowd was so behind her that day, and the cheer and she and Mirza won was incredible. And since then, she's just won so many more titles. Won the mixed doubles that year. Won a mixture of mixed doubles titles as well. And rightfully the world number 1 this year. Obviously, I think 10 titles or something she's won, 9 or 10 this year.
Yeah, 9.
Yeah, so it's just been crazy. She's a crazy good player.
Yeah. And look at this. When you mentioned she's 16, look at the players she beat in these finals. Mary Pierce, couple Grand Slam titles. Yana Novotná, Wimbledon champ, and then Venus Williams. So not bad company to be beating at 16 years old, right?
Yeah, then obviously her two following Australian Open titles, because she won 3 years in a row. She beat Conchita Martinez, who obviously was Wimbledon champion by that point and would reach the French Open final. And then in 1999, she beat Mauresmo, who obviously went on to be an Australian Open and Wimbledon champion. So yeah, really amazing.
Yeah. So we'll miss Martina, but I wonder if now Letitia Chan goes back to her sister. So that's something for another day, though. But so now we move on to Vienna, where Luca Pouille, a Frenchman, who's having, I don't know, beats another Frenchman, Joe-Wilfried Tsonga. So he denies Tsonga an extra 200 points. So Pouille now has an outside shot to make London, but denying Tsonga those 200 points makes it a little more difficult for Tsonga to qualify for London, because the extra 200 points from winning the title would have put only 95 points behind Carreño Busta. But these two guys, they've had pretty good years by titles, but everything else that it's not a title has been pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to be rude, but they could only really be French, couldn't they? With like the general results they've had this season. 7 titles combined, and Pouille the only person on the whole tour on I think both the men's and women's side to have won titles on hard clay and grass, and yet most of the season played quite badly, and that is true. And is bizarre. I mean, the Tsonga to win 4 titles and not playing that well is bizarre. And for him to be in a position to that result nearly takes him out of London, despite his performance in the big events, is strange. But it was a great week for Pouille. He obviously was in control of that final throughout. I think it was 6-1, 6-4. There was a break-up fairly early on in the second set, so quite in control of that. And an encouraging week. He's obviously become the 17th seed in Paris because Federer's out. And considering that bottom half isn't as loaded as the top half, you don't know. He could go on a run. You don't know.
Oh yeah, he's in that bottom. Takes Federer's spot in the bottom half, so that part of the draw is very, very wide open, which we'll get to. But yeah, you mentioned only player to win hard court, grass court, and clay court title. He'll need at least a final, which is not out of the question in Paris to have a shot for London. Tsonga needs at least a semi, so also still has a shot, as well as Del Potro. So given their draws, it's very much possible that they could make it, but we still remains to be seen.
I mean, it's incredibly tough. There's so many people still in contention. I don't think this has ever happened before. It's because it's just mad to see so many people out injured. It's really changed the dynamic, and it's hard to tell because obviously Nadal's in the draw. He's going to be the favourite for the title. Probably would have been Federer if he'd played, but obviously he's not there. So obviously Federer's absence means there's more of an opportunity, especially for Pouille, who's obviously been given an advantage by being put in a seeded position. So you've got obviously Pouille, you've got Tsonga, you've got Del Potro. Obviously, I'd say Goffin's probably secured a spot by now. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't qualify. But, you've got Querrey, Anderson, Carreño Busta, who are still fighting for spots as well. So it's going to be a fascinating week.
Oh, yeah, very much. And might as well move on to the Paris Masters draw now, that Querrey and Carreño Busta in what's possibly the biggest third-round matches of their career.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be
if they get there. If they get there,
because neither of them have been in amazing form of late. I
think your Querrey, Anderson, and Carreño Busta are combined like 7 and 13 since the U.S. Open. That is pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I think I do have that matchup happening in my draw bracket. I think I've gone for Querrey, which I think could push him in there. But it's so hard to tell. Querrey isn't an amazing indoor player. I'm going to Pablo Carreño. He's won Moscow before, lost first round this year, so he can do well indoors. So it's going to be an interesting matchup for sure. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But obviously, it could be neither of them two if someone like Songa or Del Potro pulls off an amazing run. If Anderson finds some form, which I don't think he will, but you don't know. It's very open.
Yeah, very, very much. So yeah, you mentioned top seed Nadal, probably his best chance to win the Paris Indoors, a title he's never won. And I mean, plays Misha Zverev or Hyun Chung in his opening round, and then could be Ramos Vinolas in his third round, and then one of Querrey Carreño Busta on the quarter. So not a bad first section for Mr. Nadal there. And then this is where it gets interesting. So Sasha Zverev could potentially face Del Potro in the third round. And then you also have Isner and Schwartzman. So if Schwartzman beats Troicki, they have a second round match, and both still have an outside chance, but a very, very small chance to qualify for London too. So that'd be interesting to match up to see the big guy versus the little guy.
Yeah, it's good. Quite a few of the contenders have been put in the same half of the draw. So obviously you've got your Del Potro in there. You've got obviously Carreño Busta Querrey. Obviously Carreño Busta and Querrey are very close to qualifying. Del Potro is obviously the big name, the one who's made a late surge. He was 47th on the race heading into the US Open, and now he's up there somewhere like 13th or 14th. I don't know, maybe a bit higher than that. So it's going to be interesting. I like to see the Schwartzman Del Potro matchup because Schwartzman's had an amazing year as well. Real breakthrough for him. He's going to finish in the top 30. So it'd be interesting to see.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And now we're going to move to the third section where you said Goffin is pretty safe, but tough second round match for him as he draws one of two former champions here. Yes, this draw is so decimated. There's only two former champions, and one of them is David Ferrer, who plays Manarino in the first round.
Yeah, that's an interesting part of the draw because the Manarino has been in good form of late as well.
It took a set off Federer.
Federer last week. Has had a couple other good results. So reached the final in Tokyo, I think, where he lost to Goffin. So obviously, neither Ferrer or Manarino would be an interesting match for Goffin. Like I said, I think he probably will be safe anyway. It's obviously not guaranteed. I think if he gets one win, that will give him some confidence. I think it should be enough. But that's not an easy draw for him at all. I'm sure he would have much preferred to have had someone else apart from them two, especially considering Manarino's recent form and obviously playing in front of his home crowd who want to finish his season strongly. And obviously, even though Ferrer hasn't had a great season, he's a bit on the decline, he still can be a very tough opponent on his day. So, yeah, not a nice draw for him.
Yeah, not at all. And then we move on to Goffin's potential third round opponent, Tsonga, who could face Denis Shapovalov, the man who knocked him out earlier this year.
Yeah, like I said last week, the match against Shapovalov at the US Open is a match Tsonga should have won. Obviously, he's clearly played better in general outside the slams this year, but not massively well at the Masters 1000 events. So it'd be nice to see that matchup again. Shapovalov hasn't played amazingly since the US Open. He's picked up a couple wins, I think, but nothing special. So I would give Tsonga the edge again this time if they do meet, but it's hard to tell.
Yeah, and then we move on to the fourth and final section where Dominic Thiem, who we know struggles pretty badly on the hard courts, but has a very favorable draw against Peter? Is it Peter? Yeah, Peter. I can't pronounce this. Gajacek. It's German. Sorry, guys. Peter Gajacek in the second round, and then potentially Anderson out of form. Rublev. He's got by him last week in Vienna. or Verdasco in the third round. So not a bad draw for team. And then the bottom half, it's pretty decimated with Federer out. So Pouille will get either Hervé or Lopez, and then Sock will get Edmund or Evgeny Donskoy. And maybe Kyle Edmund, the Brit, could make another run here like he did last week in Vienna. Brit's in some good form.
Yeah, that was an encouraging one for Kyle. Obviously, he had that issue at the US Open where he reached the third round with tied against Shapovalov, which was a match I think a lot of us were looking forward to. He reached the semi-final the week before then in Winston-Salem as well. So, yeah, good one this week. Obviously, Donskoy, who is ironically coming for Federer, and Donskoy was the first person to beat Federer this year. So he's moved into his lucky loser. It's a match he should win. Sock would be a tough opponent now. Sock versus Pouille could be an interesting third round if it happens, but Pouille could start against Feliciano Lopez. Just, yeah. I mean, obviously, Kevin Anderson hasn't been in great form of late. I think Verdasco-Rublev is a very interesting first round match. Whoever wins that will be a tough match for Anderson. Even though it is a favourable draw for Tino, there's that thing there. But he's had quite a few draws where he should have done well this year and hasn't on hard. So there's a little bit of doubt there.
Yeah, just a bit. So now we're going to quickly review our picks for the Paris Masters. And I'll obviously review our picks from last week. So we were god-awful in Vienna. I got 2 points because I picked Pouille. I got one semifinalist point for picking Pouille. Oliver had 0. And we both had team out early. So, yeah, I had 2 points. Oliver had 1 point. Basel was where he made up all our points. I had the clean semifinalist sweep in both finalists, but did not pick the winner. Oliver did pick the winner, but did not have Del Potro in the final and had one less semifinal point than me, choosing Bautista Agut over Del Potro. And then we both had Nisha Zverev out early, and we don't talk about Singapore because we only had Venus. But yes, our total points, that puts me at 41, 10 points for the week, and that puts Oliver at 37, 8 points for the week. So still reasonable time to catch up. I mean, with what? We have this, Milan, Paris, Zhuhai, Milan, London to go still. So obviously some catch up time before we reset the scores for next year. But now our picks this week for Paris. So top half, wait. Did I write this down right? I don't think I wrote this down. Oh, no, wait, I did. Okay, so my finalists are, well, since my 1750 dream is over, I'm perfectly content with 1450. No, I'm kidding. I have Nadal, Del Potro in first semifinal. The second semifinal, I have Cilic and Pouille, and I have a Nadal-Cilic final with Nadal claiming his first Basel title. Oliver, take it away.
I think I had Nadal beating Dimitrov in the top half semi-final.
Mm-hmm.
In the bottom half, I had Cilic beating Verdasco, I believe. I've forgotten as well, but I think that's what I had. Yep. And then I had, like you, Nadal beating Cilic in the final.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's won in Paris a lot of times before, but not of this Paris tournament, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah. He likes Paris, but not this one. So we'll see. My sleeper pick is Federer. It could be Pouille, but I'm gonna stick with Federer to go on a solid run as being one of the former champs. And yours was Mr. Jack Sock.
Yeah, he's in that bottom section, which is really open. Obviously, potentially Kyle Edmund, not an easy first round match, but one he should win. And then potentially Pouille in the third round. Pouille has obviously been inconsistent this year, so you don't know. And it's the section with teaming, and teams obviously got a favourable draw, but is never a banker on hard courts, especially with his recent form. So, yeah, I think Sock has an opportunity to go on a decent run this week.
And then you had your early exit is Mr. Kevin Anderson dashing his hopes and dreams of qualifying for London.
Oh yeah, he's just not been in great form, like we've already said. Obviously had that amazing summer final at the City Open, final at the US Open, amazing run in New York, but he's had like the slump since then, and it's been quite bad. I'm not sure if he's won any matches at all, really. Maybe only one or two since the US Open, so I can't see him doing well this week.
Neither can I, but I have Songa out, so obviously could play fellow countryman Julian Benito in if he gets passed by Shapovalov, but then if he doesn't, it's the man who knocked him out in the U.S. Open, Mr. Shapo, and then if he gets by that, Goffin. So, I mean, it'll take a massive run to the semis for him to qualify. So, I'm just not seeing it for Mr. Songa this year, but maybe if he picks up some form, 2018 will just be even crazier. So now we move on to Zhuhai, where we have 4 groups. So let's see if we can be better than Singapore, where there's only 2 groups, two women get out, and we have now 4 groups, only 1 woman gets out. So first off, the Azalea group, we have Kristina Mladenovic, who's the top seed but floundering form. We have Julia Gergis, recent champion in Moscow, and Magdalena Rybarikova. Who is your pick for the Azalea group?
Well, for me, it has to be Gergis. I mean, she's had a great year. Back in the top 20, obviously title in Moscow, other finals as well in Bucharest and Mallorca and Washington as well. Obviously, Mladenovic not in amazing form. Did play well early on in the year. Obviously, Rybarikova, Wimbledon semi-finalist, recent Linz finalist. But I think Gergis is the one out of them who's had has a resurgent season, is in the best form coming in. So I think she's my pick.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you there. Miss Julia is the one in the better form, and obviously that means she's probably the favorite to get out of the group, despite being the quote-unquote 7th seed. So, but she is playing great, won that Moscow title pretty convincingly over Kasatkina, so I think she'll be fine. So the Bujane Vilea group, oh boy, that pronunciation, has 3 women who are in okay, but not the best form right now. We have Coco Vandeweghe, Elena Vesnina, and Peng Shuai. Are you fancying Peng Shuai, the wild card, to perform in front of her home crowd?
I'm not sure. I think for me, this is the toughest one to predict. Because like you said, none of them come in outstanding form. I think obviously Peng Shuai has played well at home this year. Obviously won in Nanchang, had that big win over Kvitova in Wuhan. So I think I might just lean towards her, yeah. I think this might be a group where each woman wins a match and loses a match. I can't see anyone taking control of this group particularly, but I'm going to lean towards Peng, yeah.
Okay, you'll lean towards Peng. I'll lean towards my haters. and say this out now. Coco Vandeweghe is going to the semis. Because I've been open about that. I'm very fond of Coco and her game. I mean, she's very fiery, but yeah, other players are fiery too, and they love it. Coco's fiery. Oh, she's the worst. What'd she do to you guys? No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I feel like Coco may she could overpower both Vesnina and Peng, but I highly doubt that. But I feel like if Coco she finds her ground strokes, it'll be a solid day. But I think she'll win based off game percentage. Like you said, it'll be a 1-1, 1-1, 1-1 battle. So
yeah, I think that's the hardest one to call. So it'll be interesting.
Yep. So move on to the Camellia group. U.S. champion Sloane Stephens. We have Anastasia Sevastova and Barbara Streisova.
I'm leaning. I mean, it's another tough one to call. My instinct here is saying Stevens. I know she hasn't been in great form since the US Open triumph, but she obviously beat Sevastova. Obviously, Strichkova won Lindsay. I think, like I said, it's another tough one, but I'm thinking Stevens. I'm thinking she'll end the season with a fairly good result.
Yeah, this is a tough one to call because Stevens did beat Sevastova in the US Open, but the other Stevens has not had the best results since then. I mean, not many women do after winning their first slam title. But then Sevastova and Strichkova have been playing pretty well. You mentioned the title Lynch for Strichkova. It's a tough one to call, but I'm already different because you already hang out Coco, but I think I'll go. Nah, I'll stay slow. Stay home. Stay home with the Americans.
Yeah, I mean, think it would be good for her to finish the season strongly. Obviously, it'll set up nicely for 2018 because obviously now she's won a slam. There's that extra pressure. If she can win a title in the same season after that, I think that can only be a good thing.
Yep, and then the Rose group we have Pavlyuchenkova, Kerber, and Barty. And Barty just played doubles in Singapore, so I mean not that far of a travel to Zhuhai, but still some travel time to get to Zhuhai though.
Well, they lost first round in the doubles, her and Delacroix, so I don't think it would be a major issue. The one person I can't see going through this group is Kerber.
Yeah, no.
Bad year. I can't see her beating, or I can't see her winning going through the group. I think it is between Pavlyuchenkova and Barty. I'm thinking Pavlyuchenkova to go through. I know obviously I messaged you that obviously draw dependent. The two women I was watching out for this week were Pavlyuchenkova and Gurges. Pavlyuchenkova has got a tough group, but she's beaten Kerber twice this year. She hasn't been consistent herself, but she's obviously put a slightly better season together than Barty, so I think she'll go through this group.
I think this is the one where I also lean different. I think Barty will be able to grind out the points and force Pavlyuchenkova to get those errors, and I think it'll be the Aussie to get through, and it'll be tough for us to predict a final right now and a winner, but out of your semifinalist, which is Gerges, Peng Shuai, Sloane Stevens, and Pavlyuchenkova, who do you fancy to make the final and then win the title out of those four?
Well, I'm not entirely sure how the draw works, like which winner of which group goes into each semi-final.
Yeah, neither am I.
If I had to say go for a winner there,
yeah,
I don't know. I'm gonna say Gurges.
And then who would she face in the final?
Well, I said the two. I said before the two women I thought would do well with Gurges and Pavlyuchenkova.
All
so
right.
assuming they are in opposing semi-finals, I'd guess it's them. I'd say that's the final, but obviously we don't know how it works.
Yeah, we don't know how it works either. I'm thinking whoever was like undefeated, if that's a thing here, and then if that happens, and then would be like the highest game percentage or whatever would be like the top seed or something. That's what I'm thinking. That would make the most sense.
Yeah, that would make the most sense. I'm on Wikipedia now. I'm going to see if we can find out.
Actually, yeah, I want to do the same as you. See singles. What's it called? Let's see.
I can't find it anywhere, so.
Oh, so let's see. It looks like. Oh, yeah. So I'm looking just through last year. So Konta was. Wait, yeah, this makes no sense. Wait. They literally just did it by how the groups were. So, because Kvitova had the highest game percentage, but she was still the third because she was in the third group, she was the third seed. So, and Zheng Shui was from the second group, so she was the 2 seed. So, knowing based off that, it would be Azalea Group, the 1 seed, Bougainvillea Group, the 2 seed, Camellia Group, the 3 seed, and then the Rose Group, the 4 seed. So technically, we'd have a Gergis Pavlyuchenkova semifinal if it were to hold like that.
Okay, in that case, I'm good. I think Gerges is my pick. I would say Gerges beating Stevens then.
Yeah, that was a lot to digest. Dang it! Why can't y'all just be like game percent 2-0, highest game percentage goes through, top seed. Oh, so difficult. I am having also Gergis in the final. Wait, where are my picks go? Oh, they're there. But she will defeat Ashley Barty in this final. All right, so that is the Elite Trophy. And then we want to make a quick, very, very quick mention to the next gen, which will be taking place next week. But so we have our 7 qualifiers. No Sasha, as we expected. We have Rublev, Khachanov, Shapovalov, George, Donaldson, Chunk, and Medvedev. But who do you think gets the wild card? This is something I'm still working on writing, but we have the likes of Tiafoe, Tsitsipas, Fritz, Boblik, Escobedo, Sebastian Offner, Quentin Halle, or hometown boy Matteo Berrettini. So who do you think gets the wild card?
For me, it should be Tiafoe. He's the one I think out of all of them that's made the biggest impact this year. Obviously, he's beaten Zverev in Cincinnati. Obviously, played that 5-set match against Federer. I think he's the more notable of any of those potential wild cards. So I think it should be him in terms of drawing attention to the tournament.
I agree with you there. But I feel like they could go Berrettini, but I'm still thinking they go Tiafoe because of the excitement factor, especially with the quicker format. It'll suit him. It'll suit him a little better.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's quite natural for tournaments to give wild cards to home players. We see it in the majors. We've seen it obviously in Zhuhai, Peng Shuai getting the wild card there. So it could easily be Berrettini, but I would hope for Tiafoe.
Yep. So do I, because I'm American and yeah, love the bias. But anyway, this is the On the Line podcast. Oliver, you got this down last week. Where can we find you on social media?
At Oliver DJ 1998.
You can find me at Not First Noel. You can find the pod, Twitter at On the Line Pod. And you can find us on SoundCloud, here on YouTube, as well as here on YouTube. And then we will be posting our pod on Vavel and SoundCloud and all that fun stuff. We will see you all next week. And with oh yeah, we also forgot to mention, if Nadal wins one match, he's world number 1. How did we forget that? Woo! Got that in there.
He should win one match, you know.
No, for dramatic effect, he'll lose. No, I'm kidding. Just ruin our predictions again, right?
Yeah, I mean, he should win one match. Obviously, people like it would be nice to have like it go down to the final match of the year, Nadal Federer final. I don't think that'd be possible even if he did lose. And also, we've seen the Federer and Nadal matchup this year. It hasn't been exciting with the exception of the Australian Open.
Don't mention it to me.
So, yeah, I think he'll get it this week. He'll secure it this week.
Yeah. So, be definitely a great capping off one of his greatest seasons for Mr. Nadal to finish world number 1 after all the injuries he's been through. Would be nice to see if he could cap it off with Paris or London, 2 things he's never won yet. So we shall see. So we are On the Line Pod. We'll be back next week. Thanks to our 2 wonderful viewers who are watching, and we hope you all have a great day.